Let's welcome Kathy Holly and Spotlight.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Spotlight. Do we have a great show for you with talent. A wonderful couple is with me tonight. They're actually married, George and Charity Goodin. Well, George Sanen and Charity Goodin. And Charity is a singer, composer, actress, and George Sanen is a synesthetic artist. And we're going to talk more about that for those of you who don't know what that is. And his artwork is actually fabulous. Right behind me, you're going to see some of that. And I'd like to start with Charity. Charity, I heard you first in Sausalito at the No Name. I love that place. And it was so much fun to hear you with your band. But what is the story of you? Where did you first start your music? And where are you from originally?
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a delight to meet you at the No Name Bar. I started singing when I was 5 in churches. Back east, I was raised in Maryland, and I was in bands there, and rock bands, and I migrated to California.
Is there something about, your sister and you were
My
together,
sister and I
right?
were in a band together for many, many years. We had sort of a little heart thing going on, and we actually played over here at Valleymar Station.
Valleymar Station, for those people who live here in Pacifica, they know it well.
Well, it was a little different back then. It was just a bar. It was not a food place, and I came to find out that in Maryland, when you were this is last century, when you're 18, you could get into bars and you could perform there, but out here you couldn't. So I would sit out in the car in between sets and wait, come on in, sneak in through the back door. And I did that for a long time, So
you started really professionally then?
I started singing out in rock bands when I was 15. So I had to get rides there, and I auditioned for bands, and how did you get here? Oh, that's okay. I've got somebody coming to pick me up. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
That is so great. Well, did anyone in your family get you into music? Were they musical?
My mother was very musical. She had a beautiful voice, and she was the singer in the family. My dad had a beautiful voice, but no rhythm and tone deaf. He knew one verse of every country western song, and he would just sing that over and over again. He was a great whistler. So I did know a lot of country western stuff, and I've done bluegrass. I've done Yugoslavian folk music. I fronted a Yugoslavian band for many, many years.
Really?
The rock bands, I sing in Spanish and Italian, French. Mm-hmm. You heard a little bit of the French the other night.
Oui.
Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. I know. I sing in French and Spanish and Italian.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
About all this.
It's just like, and people will come out to us and start. I was like, no, I don't speak it.
No, and I'm not Russian either, but I do sing a Russian song. In Mandarin. Yeah. But this is so wonderful. It's parallelism a little bit, because our career, I think, in that sense, is great about that, because if we sing in different languages, we have an entree into many different cultures.
Very much
and
so.
It makes people feel comfortable from whatever country they're from. But tell me about this Serbian band you said you fronted too. Do you speak the language?
No,
but
not
you
at
sing
all.
in it?
That was often a point of contention. I would sing it, and then people would come up to me, and they would start talking in Serbian, and they would be a little upset that I didn't speak it.
Now,
if I were pulling the wool over their eyes or something.
Right. Well, your pronunciation, your accent must be
perfect.
had
wonderful teachers, the priests from the church here in San Francisco, and then my first husband's family was Serbian, so I had 3 different teachers there.
Well, they're very close to Croatia.
Yes.
And I have a good friend who's Croatian, and now I understand. And so it's connected a little bit to German, isn't it, in the sound?
It's more Eastern Bloc.
Eastern Bloc, okay.
Yeah.
And now fast forward, after all these many years of singing and being in showbiz, recently, I know you performed at the Phoenix, right, in San Rafael, which is a club. Some of you don't know about it. It's a fabulous club.
It's wonderful, yeah.
And I happen to have a clip from you performing there, and you're performing a song. Tell me about that song now.
It's a song from
Steps.
Miles Davis. It's called 7 Steps. It's a classic, wonderful jazz song.
It is.
I love singing jazz, and I love being able to sing with this band. It's called Del Sol. Doug Morton on keys. He's also the first chair horn for the Santa Rosa Symphony, or at least he used to be.
That's
He
great.
still does that a little bit. Rob Fordyce on bass. We had Brad McKeague on the drums. These are all stellar musicians, and they create this wonderful little net for you to just kind of sit back and relax into, and you just know they're going to be there. So I think this particular clip is maybe the beginning of it, and then there's a little bit of scatting. We also had our guest guitarist Jean-Michel Huret, who's from France, and he was here performing with us that night.
I think I've seen him actually somewhere else. But all right, let's take a look and a listen at 7 Steps.
Thanks.
7 steps to heaven, heaven waits to my lover's open door. My lover waits. I can hear him calling at the break of day. On the way, it's okay. 7 steps to heaven's gate.
Wow. I thought we had some scatting in there. Yeah, I thought we did. We missed the scatting. You are a fabulous scatter.
Thank you very much.
That was just a highlight. Well, I have a cover here, and the CD's inside of Del Sol, the band. I'd like to hold it up so maybe the camera can get a shot of it. And this is, I know the CD was given to me by you.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was. Well, I have been giving them out. This is called 2 Days in May, and then we have a second CD called 2 More Days in May. But it was actually a recording that we did, all at the same time. There's 30-something songs on both of these CDs, and we did it in 2 days live.
No.
At Jimmy Hobson's studio in San Anselmo, Marin West Studios. And we just recorded it all in there. We had a ball. It was brutal, but it was so much fun.
2 days.
Yeah. So that's the name of the
so
title.
this is like you just would do one take?
Well, yeah,
Pretty much.
Pretty much. We came back and did some overdubs, but the
is
meat of it was
fabulous.
all done in 2 days. It was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah, for those of you who don't record maybe out there, I mean, you have no idea. When I recorded my CD, I would go back and do some, some brush up or whatever, some touch up work. That's really important.
Just a little sparkle here and there.
Well, tell me when did you get into songwriting, and how did that happen?
It's an organic process. It's just from life. You want to write something down, and then the music. Actually, when I think of a song and when it starts coming together, I hear the whole thing in my head already done.
Well, that's half the battle.
Then the big part of it is trying to translate that out to the musicians, because I don't exactly write the music out, and I bring in these little charts with little rabbit things all over it, and they look at it like, oh God. But they are nice about it, and we play it, and I believe we have a song coming up. Can I explain how that one came
Yes,
out?
you wrote a song called Mi Chula. Now, to explain to our audience, how did you write it? What does the title mean?
Mi Chula is a term of endearment, and it's a Mexico City colloquialism. My husband used to call me Mi Chula, which means my pretty. So one day, I thought, well, I'm going to really learn Spanish, and I know if I put an O on the end of it, it makes it masculine. So I said, good morning, mi chulo. And he stopped and he said, no, never.
No?
Never, ever, ever called me that.
Right, because it means pretty.
It does not mean pretty. It means something completely different. And if he wants to tell you, he will. But it's not to be used by a woman to a man.
All
never.
Right. Well, this is
so anyway, I
interesting.
wrote this song, Mi Chula, and it's a lot of fun. And he also has some Arabic background, Lebanese, and he calls me all these beautiful names. So I thought, well, I'm going to include as many as I can into this song, and it's all about just terms of endearment.
Well, let's listen then, and it's many different terms. Great.
And you'll see a brach in here too, which is a Serbian instrument that's being played by the bass player.
And this is just Mi Chula now, so we
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoops, there's the scat from the
Good, we
first
get
one.
a treat. two for the price of one.
I can hear it calling at the break of day. On the way, it's so easy. 7 steps to heaven's gate. My love awaits. My love awaits. I'm only 7 steps away.
Well, that was what I was waiting for in our last clip, but
Yeah.
that's still fine. From there, why don't we just go right into now the total difference of singing Mi Chula, which you wrote. We just heard the end of 7 steps, and you scattered. Now we're going to hear the original Mi Chula. I hope I pronounced that correct.
You did.
Did I, George?
Yes, you
All right.
did.
Have many ways that my secret lover only knows. A life lived in ecstasy, that is all I want and I propose. Fill me up with pretty rings draped upon my fingers and my toes. He loves to watch and say in languages of love for me alone. And let me say.
Wow, I could listen to that over and over and over. Mi Chula. That is just wonderful. I heard the Arabic, a little bit of that
Yes.
too. I mean, that is, you really are so talented as a
Thank you.
writer.
Thank you.
I just loved it. Now, the Serbian instrument, I think I heard it with, he was
Yes.
playing lead. And there's another musician in San Francisco that has musicians who play all different instruments. He's a guitarist. Why can't I think of his name? Well, it's not important. It's all about you tonight. So, and of course, it's about George too. And I don't know if I'm running out of time here because I've spent a lot of time. But
Yeah.
there's so much more to talk about, Charity.
There is, but I'd love to just plug our shows.
Plug
that are
our
coming up.
shows. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead. Well, first of all, yes, plug your benefit. It's going to be again.
That's right, December the
Marin.
2nd, and it's going to be at the Sausalito Seahorse, Saturday, December the 2nd, from 4:30 to 7, and all of the proceeds, 100%, go to the Fire Relief Fund. Redwood Credit Union has set up a fund that gets directly to the people, so I'm hoping to have a sellout crowd there. You can go to our website at marinonstage.org, Christmas show tickets,
Great.
and order your tickets. You get a wonderful meal and a show.
Great. Now, there on the screen right now is not the flyer about the fundraiser, but that's another part of you because you're going to be a special guest in my show
Yes,
in
thank you
Sausalito
very much. You
on
offered to do
December
that.
10th, a Christmas cabaret gala, and it's going to be wonderful. We have a lot of fun. And
So
people,
just stay in
you know,
Sausalito for the week.
There
Just
you go. Stay in
there,
Sausalito,
come-
December 2nd through the 10th. Of course, why not? There's the flyer
Bookend
for the
it with
10th.
two- yeah, there you
and
go.
this show is going to be at the Sausalito Cruising Club, which is
Right.
a big barge on the water. And for those of you who don't know where it is, you just all you have to do is look up www.sausalitocruisingclub.org.
Yeah.
Now, you have a darling husband over here who's been sitting so patiently,
know.
and he's such a great artist. I want to turn here to George. George, I'm going to give you your time now. First of all, I have the book here. It says Synesthesia and the Arts. Let's start talking about you have a special something, a gift really, that allows you to hear music and paint it in these wonderful artworks that you've done. And it's called synesthesia.
Actually, synesthesia is the condition of the brain, and in my case, it's the the yoking or the union of two of your senses. So two of my senses are permanently connected, which are my eyesight and my hearing. So when I hear music, I see the geometric forms that you see in my paintings in a three-dimensional way outside my head, like a projection, and they are morphing. And as the music progresses, they are constantly changing, and the colors are changing with that. So what I have to do is, once I select the piece, I listen to it several times, and I start tracing it, because I'm transforming from a three-dimensional form into a two-dimensional to capture these. And then once I have the tracing, then I decide how big the painting is going to be. I brought some samples in here just to show you. Like, for instance, this one behind me, the gray one, was painted by listening to Beethoven's Emperor Concerto.
Wonderful. Now they're going to probably, we're going to show some on the screen too of different, different paintings that
and
you've
I'll
done.
tell you what they are.
And
as
if we
they're
can,
shown.
if we can show them, because your first profession, though, before you started painting, oh, here it is. Let's take a look at this.
That's right. That was painted by listening to Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, and as you can see, it's a very complex painting.
Very.
There's no computers involved. Everything is done by hand, and any one of my paintings can take anywhere from 80 hours to 200 hours to make.
My goodness.
So, I mean, I'm prolific, but it's a slow process.
A slow
and
process.
I'm constantly,
and there's others we can show on the screen too, because did you do a painting for Michula?
Not yet, but I have done a few paintings based on the music for my wife.
Oh, now
that one that's on the screen was made based on George Benson's On Broadway,
Oh,
which
great.
is a jazz piece.
Oh, yeah.
And,
They say the neon lights are
that's
bright.
right. As a matter of fact, we have a bag if you want to show it.
Oh, yes, we
it's
want
a
to get
tote
to,
bag
okay. Let me explain
that
to the
shows
audience
that-
before we jump.
Sure.
The tote bags will be at the art sale fundraiser that is coming up November 19th. It's a Sunday at Most Holy Redeemer Church's downstairs, in their downstairs hall, and it's going to be an art fundraiser. There it is on the screen, actually, from 9 to 6 p.m. 25% of all the art sales will help families. 25% of the art sale money will go to the families. And I have actually individual families, profiles of them. So these tote bags are wonderful because your artwork is on them. So versus buying a full painting, you buy the tote bag, you in essence have your wonderful artwork. And they're practical and they're beautiful. And so these will probably sell for how much a
40.
piece? 40. And can you show me another one, Charity? Because these are really beautiful designs. Oh, this is great. Another tote bag with a different design. Oh, great. Just hold them. Oh, that's great. So people will get an idea of what we're doing here. I mean, it's just absolutely great, George.
Thank you.
So many of these designs, they're all different. When do you, so you sketch first? I want to find out again your process. You sketch everything first?
That's
Yeah,
right.
just-
And once I have the sketch, I decide how large the piece is going to be, the canvas is going to be, and to capture what I'm seeing. Then I listen to the music constantly to capture the color.
And so
and
when
then
you
I
listen
apply
to it over and over, then you start to
I'm
put
applying the
colors
color.
in.
That's right.
And you were, first of all, you were an architect. That's your training.
That's right. That's my profession. I studied
And you were
studied
from
architecture.
originally.
I was born in Mexico, and I was raised partially in Mexico and partially in Italy. I came to this country in 1977, and I haven't left. I'm still here. So
That's fantastic. And I'm going to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico in
know.
another week. It's
Lovely.
a great art community. I think you should go down there and bring your paintings.
well, I
And put
actually
them in a
have
gallery.
very good friends in San Miguel Allende, so and I have talked about that with them.
Oh,
so.
it would be wonderful. And then, Charity, we will do the show in the Bibliothèque
there.
Theater. That's what we'll do. We'll just combine the whole thing and
Let's
then
do it.
open up a club. Why not?
Yeah.
That's what we can
A
do
club
next.
gallery.
We need the headache. No.
Yeah.
Well, I have this wonderful book here, Synesthesia and the Arts.
That's correct.
Now, is this recommended reading for anybody who wants to know more about it?
Definitely, it's a very well written book. It's a British book, but you can find it in Amazon. And one of the chapters is written about my artwork, and several of the illustrations are my artwork as well. I think the writer, Danny Cavallaro, did a great job, not only about my paintings, but there are many, many famous artists.
There are.
That, like for instance, Duke Ellington was a synesthete, Jimi Hendrix, Madonna,
Really?
Billy Joel,
Oh,
famous scientists like Nikola Tesla, architects like Frank Lloyd Wright was a synesthete. So it's a condition of the brain that doesn't occur very often, but when it occurs, people express it in different ways, obviously.
but when you're a musician, you just named, who was it that had
Well,
synesthesia?
Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington, for instance. He
Yeah.
also wrote music.
Yeah, and he could tell in when he was playing with his orchestra, and you can imagine his orchestras were, I mean, very large, and he
Yes.
could tell by the tone of each one of them because of the color that he was singing. He could tell the musicians, you're playing this flat tone and it's wrong, it has to be a sharp, and so forth. And they were always amazed that in that cacophony of sounds, all of
Yes.
them playing, I mean, 25 horns playing at the same time, he could identify which one was not playing the right tone. So
That is
it's
so
amazing.
to me.
Well,
So that's the ear and the eyes
and
together.
the eyesight, yep.
That is, to me, that's amazing. When you first met, did you know about this wonderful talent, Charity?
No.
You had no idea.
No idea.
And you two met at a party.
We
Yes.
did. We met at a party. One of my clients, I'm also, as any good musician, I have another job.
I wanted to talk to you about that very briefly, but let's talk about you're a massage therapist.
I
is
am
that
a
right?
massage therapist for the last 23 years. I work closely with Novato Back Care, and it's called Sport and Spine now. But anyway, one of my clients who came to me once a week, and she considered me part of her construction crew at her house. She was having it redone, and her husband was friends with George, and she invited me to come to the party to meet the tall, green-eyed Spaniard.
And that's how you met.
And that's
of course,
it.
Yes, this is quite a story. Well, tell me just a little bit about the massage therapy. How much of a background do you have to have? You obviously manipulate with your hands. You do massage.
Yes, I do.
You're a
I do.
masseuse?
I
Masseur.
do.
No, you're a masseuse.
It's called massage therapist now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, I just want to make
That's
sure.
okay.
that's
No,
true.
I did extensive training at National Holistic Institute, and I've been in business, as I said, for over 23 years now. And I do Swedish, I do shiatsu, I do proprioceptive neurological facilitation.
Oh my goodness.
I enjoy reading up on all of the medical breakthroughs and helping my clients. I have some people with Parkinson's. It's incredibly beneficial, and I'm
Yes.
truly fortunate to have the wonderful clientele that I do. I only take referrals. That's it. I've never advertised.
You don't ever have to advertise.
It's a
No, I
safety
can
issue for
see.
me. It's a
well,
safety
also it's
issue.
by word of mouth.
It's
that your
only word of
success.
mouth. That's it.
You mentioned Parkinson's. Now, that is.
It's a
me about
neurological.
that.
That's a neurological disorder, and it
Mm-hmm.
helps to. For the person that's experiencing the Parkinson's, there's a lot of stiffness and a lot of muscle contraction all the time, so it's very
Yes.
tiresome. And and massage therapy will help them to just be able to relax a little bit. Sometimes they're not able to let go of the muscles all the way, but for the most part, it's very beneficial. It helps their sleeping patterns, and my clients have been very happy.
Well, that is just
Yeah.
great that you have those talents and
Yeah.
you can use your hands. I think one of the oldest healing arts is the heat
Yeah.
from the hands. Isn't that right?
Reiki, yeah. Hmm.
Reiki.
Yeah.
That's it, Reiki therapy. And of course, we have to mention music therapy. And
Yes.
painting is therapeutic. But how did you decide to get into really painting? Because you were an architect first.
Well, you're born with the condition. So when I
Right,
was a
but-
kid, I thought everyone had this condition. So my father loved classical music, and when he was driving me to school, I would be sitting next to him and I would listen to classical music. I didn't know who I was listening to. I didn't know who Beethoven was or Brahms or Tchaikovsky for that matter.
Right.
But I would just look at the wonderful colors and shapes I was seeing, and I would turn around and I asked my father, well, what colors are you seeing? my father is driving and he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I said, well, don't you see the colors right here and everything? And he says, no, I don't see any colors.
And so, what
So-
did he, how did you begin painting then? Did you buy a little, did he get you a watercolor set or paint set?
From the beginning, I mean, I wanted to paint, and obviously you start with Crayola crayons, and then you start moving into
Right, so
in
you
that direction.
you did want to do all this.
Oh
the
yeah,
art. This was
absolutely.
just-
And I went to art school for a few years, and then I decided
wonderful.
if I stumble and I don't make a living as an artist, then I rather switch to another career that's going to pay the bills. And that's when I decided to switch to architecture. And I do my artwork because it's a passion for me.
You have to have that is definitely a passion. I think all of us here, look at those pieces now that are on, that's fabulous. All those were your artworks. But we all have a passion, that is true. If you don't get into the arts without a passion for it. And I understand you're working on a library, the Half Moon Bay Library. That's fantastic.
That's
You're
correct.
working on that. And so Charity, your goal is to continue with your music, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to finish up. We've got a couple more songs in the hopper there.
Great.
That with the same group that did Michula. And the band
Great.
is playing, and we'll keep
We'll
going.
be looking forward to everything. And people can go to your website, charitygoodin.com, and you have your gig schedule up there and you have everything about every
Yes.
event you're doing. So that's what everybody should do. There it is. And then you too, George. You have a website.
my website.
GeorgeSanen.com.
.com.
So this is really great. Everybody has no excuse for not knowing about all of us. And you can go to my website too, kathyholly.com. The only thing I do have to tell you is I don't put my whole schedule up because it changes a lot. So you just have my email, and you can email me and say, Kathy, where are you next month? But I do know that in December I am going to be very busy with music, as you are. And there are some wonderful things going on with fundraising, thank goodness, which is great. And I just want to remember out there in television land that PCT is a wonderful station here. And I'm grateful that I have this great show. And if you want to contribute to the station with your time or with funds, you are always welcome. And if you want to be on my show and you're a musician or a painter or an actress, producer, director, whatever it may be, please contact me, Kathy Holly, because I'm here. And I am so glad you both were guests. Thank you so much. I want to thank George. I want to thank Charity.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you out there for watching. Please tell your friends to watch Spotlight. I know sometimes you can find us on YouTube. It's uploaded, the show is uploaded to YouTube.
Perfect.
Television is so much fun. And I want to thank the crew. Thank you for doing a great job. Well, this has been so much fun. We'll have to do it
Enjoyed
again.
We enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, chapter
Thank you.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is. Contact me.
Thank you, Kathy. This was lovely. I really appreciate it.
Scenery, the native dances and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong.
I love this song.
Yeah, show that was
I love that song.